Good morning students, welcome to the science class. In previous video we have studied about the basic steps of agriculture. We continue that video. Listen everyone. Read the information given below and try to understand the three categories of the farmers. Here they given three farmers name. One is Rangamma, Julkamma and Manjamma. These three ladies are a good friends and they are in the same village. In that village, all the peoples of the village are living with love, faith, peaceful and coexistence. Rangamma is a farm labor. Julkamma is a small scale farmer and Manjamma is a large scale farmer. Rangamma, she is a very poor and she also belongs to the same village. And she does not have a agriculture land, but she doing work in another's farms. So listen carefully students. Rangamma belongs to the same village. She does not have a agriculture land of her own. It is her responsibility to manage her family, so she does weeding, planting and separating cotton from the plants in other farms. Like Julkamma of the same village, she is a close friend of Rangamma. Julkamma is a farmer. She has her own piece of land, 1 or 2 acres. She runs her family by selling crops grown on her farms. Both these women like Manjamma very much. Manjamma is a successful lady agriculturist. She is very rich because she owns about 10 to 15 acres of land in the village. Many women of the village like Rangamma work in her agriculture land. Manjamma not only grow crops but also she rears flocks and cattle, means sheep, goats, cows, buffalo, etc. And she purchases modern agriculture equipment for cultivation purposes like a tractor, machine, harvesting machine, cutting machine, etc. She also earns money through apiculture. Apiculture means rearing honeybees, and sericulture means silkworm breeding or a vermiculture. All these are the different agriculture systems. So people of the village call her a large scale farmer. Means people are calling Manjamma and they take her advice. She always encourages and gives suggestions to the villagers to practice agriculture like her. Next is farm laborers. They do not have their own agriculture land. Farm laborers, they do not have their land. They work in some other person's field to earn their living. Farm laborers means a farm labor is a person who work in an agriculture field under the field owner and is paid wages by the owners. The economic condition of them is not so good. So farm laborers have problems of their own. Here some statements are given. Which are correct, you put a right mark, and which are wrong, you put a wrong mark. Now first one, farm laborers, they do not get work throughout the year. That is false. They get very less wages. Yes, that is true. Farm laborers are very rich? No. Farm laborers are very poor. So that statement is wrong. Next, activity. Meet some farm laborers of your village and write in the space given below the problems they faces. the first problem which are faced by farm laborers, they get very less wages. They go early in the morning and come late in the evening. Many rules have been implemented to solve the problems of the farm laborers. Like example, it is mandatory to give minimum wages to the laborers. Make a list of solutions for the problems of farm laborers. You know that farm laborers are very poor, they get very less wages, and throughout the year they do not get work. So, what are the solutions? First of all, the special agriculture zone is given and educate the farmers and give minimum wages to the laborers. It's a male or a female. Next is small scale farmers. Small scale farmers, they own a piece of land of their own. They sell the crops they grow in their field and earn money to lead life. Small scale farmers, they have a own piece of land, 1 or 2 acre, and they grow crops in their field and sells the crops and earn money and to lead a life. They also face a number of problems. Example, like shortage of money to cultivate the land, as the land holding is little, their earning is not self-sufficient to lead the family. Many times they do not get water for the land because of poor irrigation facilities. They lack proper guidance to grow crops that suit soil fertility of their land or the seasons. Small scale farmers, they also facing a number of problems like unavailability of good qualities of seeds, lack of modern equipment and machineries, small and fragmented land holdings, inadequate storage facilities, poor irrigation facilities, lack of proper land reform measures, lack of credit facilities, lack of fertilizers, lack of proper agriculture researches, and small and uneconomic holdings, inadequate irrigation facilities. And first that soil erosion and pests and plant diseases, and sometimes very high dependency on monsoons. So all these problems they are facing, small scale farmers. A number of steps have been taken to solve their problems. What are the solutions? First one example is monetary aid through blank loans. Means farmers they take a loans from the banks. Irrigation facilities through canals. They can take a facility through the canals, and a part of from these many more solutions have been provided to these farmers. So make a list of them. What are the solutions? First one, we have educate the farmers. Along with crops, they can use the technique of agriculture, sericulture and vermiculture, and soil testing will be done by the farmers. Some solutions are given here. The number of steps which have taken to solve the problems of the farmers. First one, multiple crops. Second is special agriculture zones. Need to modern agriculture. Educate the farmers. Need for better water management and alternate source of income for the farmers. Next is large scale farmers. You know that usually farmers, in Indian farmers, they are facing so many problems like delay in dissemination of technology and obtaining feedback from farmers, non-availability and untimely supply of agriculture inputs like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, irrigation, etc. and non-availability of labors and costly wages, market issues, that is a price variation and impact of climate changes and many related issues they are facing. Large scale farmers, large scale farmers own more agriculture land. In addition to family members, many other help them in agriculture practices. Some statement related to large scale farmers are given here. Observe. They purchase, means the large scale farmers, they are easily purchasing and use modern agriculture equipments, and they store the grains in barns or godowns and sell it when they get a better price. And they utilize the monetary facilities of the banks, means they take cheapest loans through the bank. Their income is high as they grow different crops in different seasons. So large scale farmers, they have 20 to 50 acres of lands. So they are very rich and they use all these different types of they are growing, and they are use modern agriculture equipments, and they store their crops. When they get a better price, they can sell it. So all these facilities are given by the large scale farmers. What are the facilities that large scale farmers get from the banks? Discuss and write in the space given below. First one, loan provided by the banks. They get cheaper loan from the banks. We know that the farmers do agriculture in their agriculture land. Agriculture land has been classified into two categories. One is rain-fed agriculture land and irrigated agriculture land. Farmers grow crops according to the category of the land they own. First one is rain-fed agriculture land. Agriculture land which falls under less rainfalls area is called the rain-fed agriculture land. Crops which requires less water and are suitable for that soil are grown here, that is called a rain-fed agriculture land or a khushki or a dry land cultivation. Rain-fed agriculture land means a system of producing crops without the use of irrigation. It is a type of farming that relies on rainfall for water. Next is irrigated agriculture land. Water is an important wealth for farmers. Cultivation of crops is impossible without water. So rain is the main source of water. We do not get rain all the time. So water is stored in different sources and utilized to cultivate the land, like ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, etc. Observe the picture given below. Here you can see that lake, canals, ponds, wells and tube wells. Apart from rain, water is supplied to the crops from ponds, canals, wells, tube wells. Cultivating the land using water from any of these sources is called a irrigated agriculture land. Here in that land, they are growing sugarcane, paddy, cotton are grown depending upon the soil quality of the irrigated land. These crops are called irrigated crops. Water is available for agriculture land from ponds, canals, wells and bore wells. They are called sources of irrigation. Farmers who have sources of water follow some typical and distinct, means different irrigation method to avoid wastage of water. They are drip irrigation and spray or a sprinkle irrigation. You can see in the images, students. Here in the first two images you can see that is a sprinkle irrigation, and next two pictures they are drip irrigation. Advantages of drip irrigation. Drip irrigation, it is a form of irrigation that saves water and fertilizers by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of the many different plants, either onto the soil surface or directly onto the root zone. So that is called a drip irrigation. What are the advantage of drip irrigation? So listen students. First one is increased yield. Second, early maturity. Third, water saving. Fourth, fertilizer saving. Fifth, increased fertilizer use efficiency by crops. Next, energy saving, labor saving, marginal land and unadulterated land can be irrigated. Use of saline water is possible for irrigation. Reduced weed growth, less problems of disease and pests, make interculture operations easily. So all these are the advantages of drip irrigation. Next is sprinkle irrigation. Sprinkle irrigation means it is a method of applying irrigation water which is similar to the natural rainfall. So water is distributed through a system of pipes, usually by pumping. It is then sprayed into the air through sprinkler, so that it breaks up into the small water drops which fall to the ground. They have so many advantages. Sprinkle irrigation advantages. Listen students. First one is acts like a rain. Natural rainfall. Okay. Next, works well and on sand and loam soils. Can work well on a wide range of slopes. Can be automated. Can be used to prevent damage to plants by freezing. Can be used to cool crops. Can be used to apply fertilizers and pesticides. Next, you have learnt about the types of agriculture land. Have not you? In recent year, farmers allowed two types of cultivation farming to grow crops, whether it is rain-fed agriculture land or a irrigated agriculture land. They are organic farming and chemical farming. To understand these methods, read the statements given below and you differentiate organic and chemical farming. First one is chemical fertilizers are used. Manure organic compost is used for agricultural land. Vermicompost is used to increase the fertility of the soil. Pesticides are used to grow crops. Green leaves, dry leaves are also used in this method of cultivation. Now, you separate the organic farming and chemical farming. Organic farming means it is a farming can be defined as an agricultural process that use biological fertilizers and pest control acquired from animals or a plant waste. Like manure, organic compost is used for agriculture land. Second is vermicompost is used to increase the fertility of the soil. Vermicompost means earthworms. And you know that earthworms are the good friends of farmers. Third is green leaves or dry leaves are also used in this method of cultivation. Next is chemical farming. Chemical farming is also known as industrial agriculture, refers to the farming system which includes the use of synthetic chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, etc. Here given, listen students, chemical fertilizers are used, like pesticides are used to grow crops. Next is intensive farming and mixed farming. Intensive farming means growing 2 or 3 crops on the same field in a year. In 1 year, they are growing more than 2 or 3 crops in the same field or the same season. For example, jawar, paddy, ragi, sunflower, cotton, horse gram, Bengal gram and red gram. All these are the examples of intensive farming. Next is mixed farming. In addition to cultivation of crops like cattle rearing, poultry, sericulture, apiculture are also done. In mixed farming means farmers are cultivating the crops and they add different agricultures like cattle rearing means cow and buffalo, and poultry means hens, sericulture and apiculture means honeybees. So all these are done by the mixed farming. Next is plantation farming. Fruits and vegetables, coffee, tea or flowers are grown instead of food crops on the agriculture's land. Thus farmers adopt different agriculture method and earn their incomes. Next is storing and preserving the grains. Storing and preserving the grains after the harvest of crops is also very important. Observe the pictures. Some of the methods of storing and preserving the grains have been shown. Identify them with the help of your teacher. In the first two pictures, we can see the storage system used in olden days. They are called underground granary and bamboo granary. These are the traditional method of storing grains. Food grains products are being grown on a large scale. Granaries have been constructed to store and preserve food grains products. Farmer can preserve their food grains in government granaries in little expensive. Storage of crops means once the grains are separated from the chaff, they need to be stored before they are made available for use of consumptions. Since moisture encourages microbial growth, it is necessary to ensure that both the grains and the storage area are free of moisture. The threshed and winnowed grains are first dried in the sun and to remove as much moisture as possible. Farmers weigh the crops and packed in gunny bags or beans and stored in godowns. Godown should be clean. Farmers they can clean the godowns and dry and free of rodents means rats and insects. Pesticides should be sprayed beforehand to keep away pests. Also, godowns and stored grain should be inspected from time to time to check for the infection of any kind. Agriculture and farmers are like two wheels of a cart. Agriculture is the main occupation of our country. So people who lead life following the profession of agriculture are the real food providers. They are also called annadatas. If cultivator harvests, the whole world rejoices. If the cultivator fails to harvest, the whole world sobs. So these lands highlights the importance of the farmers. So let us salute the farmers, that food providers. So students, here your lesson number 8 agriculture is completed. In the next video, we have study question answers about agriculture lesson. Thank you students.